That's good. Podcast. I'm here in Sacramento, California. I'm here for Sac Anime. September 4th to the 5th. I'm going to take some pictures, video footage, we'll come to our channel. You can everything here. If you come, we'll bring this stuff to you. So stay with us, and we'll bring all the videos from out of Sac Anime. Oh, God. Beetlejuice! Hi, how are you doing? Doing pretty well. How are you? I'm doing pretty good. How are you? What the hell is this thing? The camera? No, have it. No, just not this thing. Damn it! Nope, can't do it. Sorry. Oh, too bad. Well, you're summoning me now, so what's up? I don't know. I'm enjoying the con. How are you doing? Yeah. How are you? Hey, I'll have a few shots of yourself. Come on, turn the camera around. Alright, here you go. Thanks. Alright, I don't know what your name is, but later. Hey! I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're pals. We're real good. Alright. Gorgeous. Alright, see you later. See ya.
Alright, first I want to say, my name is Commander Shepard, and this is the best panel on Citadel. And second, second, you've done so many voice acting characters in your career. Recently you've done Grunt, Mass Effect 2, and also Wolverine and other series. What gets you mentally prepared for each different character that you do? Did it tell you beforehand before you do it, or do you kind of a mental image of what it's going to turn out?
Well, it depends on the character. Things like Wolverine, I kind of know the character, so I kind of know where to go with it. It's the voice I've been hearing since I was a little kid. Things like Grunt, they just showed me a picture, and I released something that was really deep and loud and scary. And they said, okay, that's cool. They throw the script down in front of me, and it's like 1, 2, 3, go, and that's it. That's all the preparation I got for that. When I have other shows that are a little more established or something that they have a little more lead time on to give me a script, I will study it overnight, maybe. That's about as much time as I ever get. But most of the time it's a cold read, so I don't have the time to prepare for anything. And I would probably not do as well if I did have time to prepare. Because my training was anime, where everything is a cold read. I walk in the studio and hear 3 beeps and I'm recording. And I don't know what the character looks like sometimes before I go in. I don't know what they're supposed to sound like. I don't know if it's male or female, so I'm being surprised. It's kind of fun. Kind of like life.
Moving around the door right there.
I'd like to say I'm a big fan of your role on Gurren Lagann as Leelon. I was wondering, what was it like to work on that show with Kyle Hebert and all the other voice actors in?
You know, the funny thing is that everybody thinks that there's these great casts of people, and you know that we all know each other. We never see each other on those shows because we work alone. Anime is a very solitary business. We're on one side of the glass, we have a producer and director and engineer on the other side of the glass, and that's it. And the only time I would see Kyle would be when he's walking in and out of the studio for, you know, giving a high five on the hall as he's coming in for his session and leaving for mine. So it's kind of sad that we don't get to work together, and that's one of the reasons I like working on the American animation, because we do work in a cast format. It's like a radio play. But we manage to run into each other from time to time and kind of catch up. But the only time that we really get to spend any quality time together is coming to cons together. So that's when I see Kyle the most. It's kind of sad that that's the way it works out. But that show was so much fun. I think I laughed harder on that show than any other show I've ever worked on. And the nature of the writing of the show, especially for my character, was so crazy anyway that we kind of took it to a different level. I had 2 or 3 alternate takes for every line you'll ever hear on that show that will never see the light of day because it was just too foul for little ears. Someday I hope that they have the guts to release that, because it's going to be a real show than you're used to. But I personally find it much more exhilarating.
The fanboy in the front here.
Awesome. Wow. I don't know if I should be honored by that or creeped out by that. It doesn't make sense. He has a picture of me on the shirt, and that's... I scare me.
I'd go with both at this.
I'm sure he's wearing it on his body somewhere right now. A Big Mignogna shirt?
Peach on. There you go.
So, flashback, when you get like 9, Tsunami is busy like redefining everything I ever thought was cool. One of the things I look back on now really like affectionately was the promos you guys did. And you would have these promos where you would take the clips from the show or clips from the character, and you would like talk over it, and there was really solid rhetoric and just like sage wisdom in that. And it kind of, to me, seemed like the difference between programming and like programming that people actually cared about giving to people. And I wondered how that like idea came about, or if that was something you guys did for fun. And as long as you're doing impersonations, can you do Gale from Digital Electronics?
It's been so long. Somebody asked me about that one recently. It's been so long, I don't remember.
I love Spike.
Bang.
One word, that's all it takes.
What was the other question? I'm sorry. Promos on Tsunami, yeah. Oh, that was actually brainchild of the guys from Cartoon Network in Atlanta. And those guys are hardcore anime fans, hardcore gamers. Sometimes all of those sessions were done over the phone, so I didn't even meet those guys for a while. Everything was done through phone patch, and sometimes I could actually hear them playing video games in the background. Most of the time, I didn't know what I was talking about. I have to give all of the credit for Toonami to those guys, because I had the voice of Tom, but I really had none of the wisdom of Tom. Except for a few little things that I would throw in just stylistically. But as far as all of the content those guys wrote, they put it together. They're as hardcore fans as anybody here, and still are to this day. And I miss working on that because they were so passionate about it. And coming in every week and doing those things and saying, "Oh, and Toonami." How many people grew up with that show? It was just astonishing to me, because I'm not really aware of what's going on once I record it and it's out there. But I realized that Toonami kind of raised a whole generation. And so, I'm sorry if I, guided anybody in the wrong direction. Actually, should be apologizing to your parents.
Black shirt here in the front.
Yeah, I just wanted to know.
You got it.
Well, the only difficulty that I've had with directors is paying attention when I need to be paying attention, especially in original animation where there's a whole cast. A lot of us fool around a lot between our lines. And so every now and then I'll get caught off guard, I'll get into a conversation, and it'll be my turn to go up to the microphone, and I won't be at all prepared. I'll have no idea what page I'm supposed to be on. And most of the directors are very forgiving of that, because it happens all the time. So I really haven't had a bad experience with the director. Probably the most memorable experience was in an audition for one of the Spider-Man games. I was auditioning as one of these bad guys. I forgot which one now. But I was screaming so hard for the audition that I passed out. The bad part was that they recorded it. So it gets worse. So you hear, and then people are rushing and they're making sure that I'm okay, and you hear me mumbling something in the background. The worst part was, a month later, in a different studio with a different director, they played it back for me. So they start sharing this throughout the community, and so, so I was the guy that faints. Just a tough guy, faints in session, so that's how macho I am, baby. Want somebody to pass on your man.
The Black Fedora.
Yeah, Frank Oz forgot how to do Yoda's voice between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Now I'm confused because my whole time warp thing just opened up. For a second there. If I could go back in time to do a character that I never even auditioned for? Wow. Godzilla. That would be awesome. Godzilla movies, that would be pretty cool.
And Godzilla.
Maybe we'll do another one.
I don't even know what's on your shirt, young lady, but you're up.
You mentioned how now you're able to do this full time, and before you had to do other jobs on the side. I was wondering, what's the worst job that you ever had that's not related to voice acting?
Wow. Well, I had a lot of bad jobs. I had a lot of terrible jobs. One job that I did that overall wasn't so bad, but it had some really terrible moments. I used to recharge fire extinguishers in downtown Los Angeles. Spec fire equipment. And my route, because I was the new guy on the job, I had the worst route of anybody, so I used to work Skid Row. And I think it was the very first week I was out on my own. I was in training for a couple of weeks, and then I was out on my own with my own little truck, and I was really proud of myself out there and literally working in the gutter. I would go and grab the extinguishers from inside the restaurants or businesses, take them out to my truck and squirt them out and refill them with the powder and stuff. And then a week into the new job on my own, this homeless guy came up to me, and which happened often in Skid Row because that's basically what the population was there. This guy came up to me, and I would have conversations with everybody. I didn't really care, and he started talking to me, but he was mumbling. He was really, really drunk, and asking for change. And I had my mask on, and I had gloves on, and I had powder all over me. I said, you gotta wait till I'm done here, and I'll see if I've got some change. And the guy goes, oh, okay, great. And they so that was a little icky. And then just going in and out of the restaurants in downtown, especially Chinatown, I'd see some things that you really wouldn't want to associate with food. So that was really, it wasn't too nummy. And then working for that film company, when I first started, I was a driver for the film company, and one of the worst things I ever had to do for that was to take my boss's two very large dogs, I think they were Great Danes, that had been skunked in my truck, which had a carpet kit, about 40 miles to get them washed and cleaned up. And that skunk smell lasted in my car for about 3 months. It was unbelievable. Eyes were watering, I felt like my skin was burning off. It was horrible. And I paid a lot of dues. I did pay a lot of dues.
You, sir, yes.
I'm on a boat.